July 28th, 1973, Frank and Mary Oliva, who have been married for 52 years, were last seen getting into their 1958 Chevrolet 210. And since that day, they have never been heard from again.
We're starting today's story here where they used to live back in 1973. It's one of those things where Grandma's getting a little bit older, Frank really loves his wife Mary, and is it time for them to actually check out?
In the evening, when they did leave between 8 and 9 p.m., which the neighbor thought was really not characteristic. At this time, the door was shut but unlocked.
Yep.
All the windows were open and never seen from again. I believe it took a day or two for the neighbor to really realize, hey, what I saw that evening, I knew was weird and I haven't seen them come back.
Yeah.
Let's call the police.
At the time of their passing, they only had one living child. That was Frank Jr. He ended up passing away in 2013. We were talking to a local this morning who happens to be best friends with one of the granddaughters who is married to Doug. This is Jared Lysick with Adventure with Purpose. We were speaking with Lynn this morning and she gave me your phone number as we're in town looking for your grandparents, Frank and Mary. When you get a chance, give me a call if you would. Would love to chat with you and any information that you have that we might be able to help solve this cold case for you.
So we're at American Legion Park, where Frank and Mary were last seen.
The information that we have from this also was great information from Lynn. She says, in fact, let me just show you the water and how close we actually are. Right across the road right here is where the bodies of water come into play. So we have the sand pits in question right here at the south end of Wilber. There's two great big sand pits, and Lynn is like, yeah, she goes, back when I was younger, we used to go and do things over there as well, and there was like rumors like, oh, these sand pits are 200 plus feet deep. But we've had other rumors like that before, to where then we get into the water and things are only 25 to 30 feet deep. Right. The other thing that we've also ran into before is, the backstories of, well, those were already searched, where we had that story on another case where we came in 30 minutes later, we ended up solving that one. Maybe that's going to be the same for us today. Back in 1973, there's reports that, a dive team actually came in at that time. They didn't find anything, but they were really interested in one of these ponds. And I don't know which one it is. We're going to go find this out. The property owner might actually know who owns it now. But there was a rumor of an oil slick, which is why they concentrated so heavily on this one quarry pond over here. Moving from the park here over to the east side, we have, and I believe that's going to be this main quarry pond here in question. I don't know for sure though, but we do have the names of these homeowners right here, so we can go talk to them this morning and see what we can do to get on all three of these. But I have another theory in this as well. Even though they were last seen here, what if, coming back to another case that we worked, where, this is a whole thing about going out together. Mm-hmm. And in order to make sure that the car has been launched far enough in, would these sand pits have been the appropriate place? Is it too close to town? One thing we do know is that, most people are found within a 5 mile
radius. Yeah.
But if we're not looking at the 5 mile radius, there's another body of water that I'm really interested in.
The one over on Aspen?
On Aspen. So if we take 41 out of town, and then we take P right here, that's actually Aspen, and you take it just straight down, and at the end of it, you end up with a T intersection, and you just launch right off the end of it. I mean, whether you're doing 50, you're doing 80,
yeah.
If I was coming into this not taking into consideration the 5 mile radius, I feel like at the end of Aspen would be the very first place I'd want to search.
Yeah, and they've been here for 50 years. So if this is something that you are even remotely contemplating for any period of time, you have an idea what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. And I mean, that is logical right there. Like how it dead ends right into that pond. This is how we're gonna go. We know we're gonna make it. We're gonna get right in.
Yep.
And it's, to them it was an honorable thing to do. They just wanted to go out together.
Yeah.
And honestly, I like that. I don't like that it's outside of our 5-mile radius.
It's 9.1 miles.
But it's when you were doing your investigation and you showed me that, it makes sense.
And then I have one more body of water that is of interest before we get down Aspen. We have another body of water right here, the Clatoni Creek Reservoir. And the reason why I like this one is because it just has a little side road that comes north on Aspen. And so I would then, if we don't find anything over here, or we don't find anything at the end of Aspen, this is the next one I would like to come back. So we definitely have a lot of bodies of water. We've planned and we've scheduled 2 days of searching here in town. I gotta say, I'm feeling confident that we're gonna find them today.
Let's go find Frank and Mary.
All right, so I've already passed 3 no trespassing signs so far. But Lynn said that it was okay. Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Hillary?
Yes.
Did you hear that I was coming by chance?
No.
Okay, hi. I'm Jared, and we are part of a underwater sonar search and recovery team. And we're in town working the missing persons case of Frank and Mary Oliva.
They're following up on the Frank Oliva thing. It's been brought to their attention.
Do you need the whole RV and the wagon and everything?
Yeah, 'cause-
your boat and everything is in there?
Yeah, everything's in there, yep. Usually when a vehicle goes in, it'll float for, 2 to 10 minutes. And we found vehicles, as far as 80 feet out. And so even with this caving in, fingers crossed, if they did end up in here, it's not going to be, a situation to where the vehicle's been covered. If they're in there, we're gonna find them. All right, so let's do a quick sonar overview if you have never been here before. We have 2 different units that we are running. We're running the Garmin with the live scope. This will give us a picture as things are happening in real time. So if a fish swims by, we're gonna see a fish swimming by. This one is more of a picture in time. So with this one, anything that is black is water column. So this is our down imaging showing water column. This is automatic, it will automatically adjust. For side scan, we're casting 75 feet left, 75 feet to the right. And with that one, we're able to cover about 125 to 150 feet of ground at the same time. You'll see these numbers right here is our depth will end up changing, and this one will be automatic as well. So you'll be able to see the bottom and the water columns change as we're going along. So with that one, Doug.
Let's go find Frank and Mary.
Oh, we have Doug calling. Hello, Doug.
Oh, good morning, Jared.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thank you very much. Thanks for calling me back.
Yes. When did you pull into order?
We pulled in late last night, about midnight.
I guess first of all is how long are you going to be in town?
So we're going to be in town for 2 days is what we have scheduled. And currently we're over on one of the first sand pits right now. We're actually in the water at Hillary and Doug's property.
You're cutting out.
Oh, so we're on the sand pit over at Hillary and Doug's property right now.
Oh, okay, you're still cutting out.
Let me try switching here. All right, is that better? So unfortunately we weren't able to do everything on speaker there so everybody could hear what was going on, but the family is incredibly thankful that we are in town. I wish that we could have actually connected with them before. That was one of his questions, like, is it normal that you don't contact the family when you come into town? We do everything we can to try to find families' phone numbers and information and reach out to them. And we did so on Facebook, but because we were not Facebook friends, that message never got through. So anyway, he's going to contact Scott, who is an old timer in the area, to get a hold of him because he used to actually work these sand pits back in the day. And so there's potential speculation that the original pit where the oil slick was at has now actually been covered up, Doug. That as sand pits are dug out, then they move the dirt and the sand and then they fill in other pits as they move, debris around. So now when the story was told for this sand pit, it was told that this was just one great big cone that went straight down. It's flat all the way across the bottom. If the vehicle ended up in here, it's still going to be right there. Something over here, but I don't believe it is vehicle-like. But we'll just double check it. See, it pops up. That's actually 4 feet tall. I think it's just brush. Yeah, it's just brush. Brush. All right. Hello, this is Jared.
Hi, Hi, Jared. This is Susan Nickel.
Well-
I used to be in Oliva.
Hi, Susan. How are you?
My nephew would like to know if he can come out there.
Yeah, so we're over at Doug and Hillary's property right now.
Does he have to go to Doug and Hillary's yard to get in, or what?
Yeah, so go to Doug and Hillary's yard and then come around to the back where the uncle's house is at. We're back there at the back corner of it right now.
Alrighty, so I'm going to call my nephew and send him your way, and all you got to do is reach out if you need more questions answered or anything.
Once we get done searching these over here, our other body of water of interest is at the end of Aspen where it tees, and you have that reservoir over there as well.
Okay, keep us updated.
Will do. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Hello, this is Jared.
Jared, it's Doug again.
Yes, sir.
Hey, quick question I'm trying to talk to all of my family and everything. Can they just call you, and can you guys set up where you can meet each other today or tomorrow? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be moving throughout the day. So yeah, just give them my number if they're close to the area, and then I'll give them a pinpoint as to where we're actually at that moment in time.
Okay, that's perfect. I will do that.
All right, sounds good. Thanks.
Thanks, bye.
Well, I was hoping this one would be easy. Just boom, boom, done.
Well, I think we're just in the wrong spot is all. It's fine.
I'm telling you, Aspen. Like that's where I'm being drawn. Into Aspen.
But
All right.
it's progress in what we're doing.
Yeah, 100%.
We know it's not here.
Yeah, we're marking this one off.
Yeah.
All right, let's flip these up and move to the next spot.
I was talking with Doug Oliva, and he said you guys are doing some searching for some people.
Yeah, we're in town looking for Frank and Mary.
I don't know, probably the best information you're going to find out of that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I appreciate you giving me a call.
yeah, where you at?
So right now, I have a theory that they may have just gone for one last final drive out of town. I went east on Aspen, which is a dirt road that then runs into this little reservoir where it tees, and it's just a dead end. I'm guessing that back in 73, that there was not a guardrail, and that they could have just final send could have taken place right here.
It's something that has been sitting for that long, it's going to be at least halfway submerged.
Yeah.
So
yeah, for 46
right now, possibly 4.5, 5 feet is all you need it to be in. Maybe less than that, depending on how buried it is.
Yeah.
But there's no strong currents. We're not playing with that factor, and if it's here, we'll see it.
Now we're getting shallow. Now it's getting 3.5 feet deep right here. So that's not what I wanted to see. And you can see like a little point too.
Yeah.
Well, shoot. So that one writes this one off, I believe. Yeah, we're down to 2 now. Yeah, you could walk it out here now. 1 foot. Oh, we just hit bottom. Oh, we're hitting bottom there. So it's not over here.
Well, it's all right. We're out of town. This is still good because we were really suspecting it. It made sense. So this search, we're gonna go over there next, and then we can concentrate right there.
Yep.
And then it's gonna be a lot more narrower versus being there, and then ballooning out.
Well, and thinking about this too. Like
Right.
I've already been thinking about this today.
Yeah. No, it made sense.
So we have the American Legion Park right there.
Yep.
We came across to Hillary and Doug's.
Yep.
And we did a search over here because they had a rumor that there was, a potential place for somebody to drive off, and they had thought for years, hey, the rumors of them here. So we've already searched this.
And that whole lake's deep.
And yeah, it's about 20, right now it's 20 to 25 feet deep.
Right.
So we have Marty's house right here. It's my understanding.
That's Marty's.
Okay.
This is Heckman.
Okay.
But see, there's a boundary line in here. That's when you were saying this, and some of this is Gary's over here.
Right.
Okay. And those guys, when I drove up on them, they were over here. This road that comes up there, and it comes back here. See where that line of trees is?
Right here at this line of trees.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's somewhere in there, but see, that's all. That's not water no more.
Yeah, it's all filled in now.
Yep.
Okay. And that's where the road went to, and yeah, you can see where the pond used to be.
They disappeared and they started looking, and I always remember my dad telling me that they thought they seen some scrape from the bottom of the vehicle going in there.
Unfortunately, it's a good possibility. You know, they could be 40, 50 feet under there. Yeah. Well, we're gonna pack up the boat and keep knocking some of these waterways out of the way, and fingers crossed.
Yeah.
They're still findable. All right. All right, so right now we're only running about 3.5, 4 feet. The road that came in was over there. More of our access points that we were looking for, Doug, also were over here. So hopefully, fingers crossed, gets a little bit deeper and we find our target here. All right, 5 feet, 6 feet, so we're looking good. Getting a little bit deeper. Around this point, past that tree, not this tree, but that tree over there is really where I'm most interested in. And then it's gonna get shallow right there. It goes in a little cove right there. So I'm expecting that to get down like 3, 4 feet.
We need to take the boat out right there.
Yeah, you can do that.
Oh, no, you can't, because see, it's so shallow right there. You're not gonna be able to get in there. I find it hard to believe there's not a car here.
All right, nothing there, so let's go hit the dam over here.
Yeah.
And then we'll circle back around here as well. Yeah, the other thing I'm looking at is, you know, what if they ended up, driving across the dam, and then they ended up over here on this other side where the debris pile is at, and then, just to be a little bit more quiet and out of the way. Is there anything on the way over to Frank Jr.'s property? You know, at the time I believe that Frank Sr. still owned the property. Frank Jr. was working and living at the property. Anyway, that's over in Western. That's 23 miles the other way. But before we even think about that, the information that Scott had is really, disheartening for me. It's like, oh, well, that you can't even search that pond now because that pond no longer exists for you guys. That looks like a car right there. Look. That looks like a car right there. See that?
Yeah. 4-ish feet. Get it on the live scan.
Yeah. I gotta find it again. I think that's it though. That goes from, from 14, that's only 3 feet tall. I mean, that is the shape of a car.
Yeah, let's get it on the live scan. Let's see what.
Well, I gotta find it again. I gotta find it on LiveScope.
And it's rounded.
Yeah, that car is rounded.
It's got the round curvature, the way the 1958 Chevy 210 style vehicle we're looking for.
But if it picked it up there, I didn't pick it up on LiveScope. Like, it should have just been a bah on LiveScope. And I should have picked it up, unless we went right over the top of it, it would have split on side scan. In fact, let me do this. Let me come out a little bit and see if I can pick it up on side scan.
On the opposite side.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do 2 things. It was somewhere in this area. So I'm gonna hit it a little bit wider from the side and see if I can pick it up on side scan.
And the road goes all the way around.
Oh, the road is right there. Yeah. 100%. Because on LiveScope, I had like a nice flat object, but it didn't appear to be a car. It only appeared to be like the thickness of some of these slabs.
Yeah, but that's not what we saw.
No, yeah, over there.
That's not going to look like that on LiveScope. What we saw right here is going to look, you're going to be able to tell it on LiveScope.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so here it is right here, and it's not a car. So if you look at it right here, see that?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So that's what I was seeing.
Yeah, that's concrete.
Yeah. Let's go put it, but just for kicks, let's put ourselves right over the top of it with LiveScope, and just to confirm and verify.
Right. And that's really the key to the sonar, is having both. And
All
being
three.
able to reference. Like even to us, kind of professionals, thought it looked like a car. You rescanned it. You got a better look on the same scan, and now you're using a different sonar source, which is common, to reference it.
Yeah, because I mean, we clearly have a lot of concrete that's being dumped here. Like that's going to appear like a car underwater
that's
as well.
similar to what we found.
Yeah. All right, so here it is off to the left just a little bit. So if we look at it right here, and I'll back over it, see if we can put our LiveScope right on the top of it. But you can also tell, because here's our grid lines, 18, 36, and so from here to there is 18. Yeah. It's not wide enough. Right. But if you look at it here, it looks like it's like going down the slope. But then it looks like it's, that's 4 feet as well. So 8 to 12 is 4. All right, now it's off to the right. So now it's over here. So come in straight towards that piece of concrete there. Right there. So there's your slab right there. And so you can see that it's only a few inches tall.
Yeah.
Okay, so right over the top of it. For kicks though, Doug. Let's just drop a magnet. Make sure it's not magnetic. I don't want to make sure. I mean, I can clearly see, but what if it's like the roof of the car? I don't want to be wrong.
Right.
Let's see if I can back us right up over it. Okay, it should be right there. You should be right on top of it. You feel it hitting something harder?
Yeah.
And it's just bouncing?
Yeah.
Concrete. Yeah, I can see it.
I'm all over it.
Yeah, you're all over that. Okay, not metal.
But now we know.
Yep.
I mean, it's instead of wondering, we know.
Yep.
And you're absolutely right. I mean, after 40 years, that could have been just the roof.
Yeah. Yeah, with all the sand and everything moving in. All right, so we ended up doing the perimeter search first. We've moved in. We've done the interior search. Ends up checking another one off the list though, Doug.
Yeah.
We're up to 4 locations now that we've definitely checked off for the family. Where else do you think that we should be going? I know that we've been out, Doug and I were out there for 55 minutes. You guys had plenty of time to discuss.
I mean, you can do that one right south of this one.
Okay.
But it's not very deep. Well, the water that was there in 73 isn't there now, and the water that is there now wasn't in 73.
Okay. So we have several locations that just don't make sense at all. Okay, so to confirm, we're here on the North Pond. We searched the Middle Pond. We're going to go to Marty's here to then ask him about this pond here, which should only be a couple of feet deep.
The deepest water's right here. There's a real shelf on the east side. It goes out there. It's probably 3-4 foot. Be careful.
Okay.
You might stick your motor.
Okay.
And it's hard.
Back in 73, do we know where like the road would have been for an access to it? Like would there have been any
The
drop
gravel road
out?
is right there.
Just this gravel road here coming in to Marty's house.
And you'll be able to back down in there.
Okay.
And I think he had a cable or something across there one time.
Okay.
This pothole here, that was made later than 73.
Are we talking about this one or are we talking about this one?
Nope. Stay on the north side of the road right there.
Okay. What about this one here to the south? Was that one there in 73?
Okay. Well.
And is that Gary's or who does that one belong to?
This is Hickman's.
Okay.
There's like 3 slots through here. And the south one over here is where I told you that I thought that's where they saw that oil slick.
Right here, where that road comes in.
Yeah, there was 3 slots where they pumped back and forth.
Okay.
Well, they must have been in the middle slot when this happened.
Mm-hmm.
So the north slot wouldn't have been there yet.
Okay. And then this is where we think that it was like buried.
Yep.
Okay.
That's where it was buried.
And then was this one here in 73, or is that one new?
Now that's, oh yeah, that's where they pump through to go to the north side.
Okay.
But that is really shallow.
Okay. So then really we just have Marty's to the north of his house. We have just a little bit of this section to the south of Q, just to the west of Marty's house. And then that really wraps it up for potential bodies of water.
I don't know what else you can do.
Okay. All right, well, let's go knock on Marty's door, and then if we come up with any additional ideas, if we don't find him there, we can look further into it. Marty, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Has the town told you I've been trying to get a hold of you today?
Nope.
All right, I'm Jared Lysick. We have a underwater sonar search and recovery team, and we do diving as well if we locate the target that we're after. We've been in town working the cold case of Frank and Mary. So we've been over here next door to Doug and Hillary's. We've been to the property to the north of it. We've been out to Aspen and those two ponds, and just to finish marking things off the list, seeing if we can gain access to your sand pit and just finish clearing that one before the evening's over.
Yeah, go ahead.
Perfect, appreciate it.
If you find something, let me know.
100% I will. We just got permission from Marty. We're on that third pond to the south of all of them, and so we're just now pulling into that section.
Okay, yeah, so I know where you're at.
Okay.
So I guess my question is, when do you give up for the day?
You know, really, this is the talking to everybody in the area and working with them and Scott as to which ponds did not exist then and which ones do and which ones have been covered. This is really our last location for the day to, come search. So that was Doug, the grandson. Just had a lot of questions. They were down in Temecula. They're heading back to Arizona today, and he just wanted to know how the search was going and what bodies of water and who we've been working with. So really grateful that we've been in town. He wishes that he would have been here to be a part of it. And like I said, we really do our best to reach out to the families before we do come into the area. With that though, we're running out of daylight.
Turn around and you can back it right down the bank.
So we have a nice spot right there.
It's like that, but it's really sandy.
Between these two trees?
Yeah.
Those two right there. Okay. I think we're actually stuck. I think we're high center. No, it's only 2 feet here. All right, here we go. Let's see if we can keep going. All right, so from what Scott was saying, this is the deeper cut over here. That little cut took place after the 80s. So he said from this cut here across to that point is going to be shallow, which sure enough, Scott knew what he was talking about on this one. And then he also said that, in fact, that one is almost drained over there. Yeah. And we just hit our deepest right here at 4 feet. Or clear. This brings us to our final location of the day, to where we really can't even search it, because right now we are standing in the very middle of what used to be the sand pit, the one and only sand pit that was in question where the oil slick was at, to where the operator that was doing the dredging at that time, it was 25, 30 feet deep, and it wasn't until 2 weeks later that the local dive team, you know, was brought in on this one.
Yeah.
But during that time, tire tracks. We also have what appeared to be skid marks at the bottom of the car that might have gone over the bank, you know, that he saw all of this.
Yeah.
But weeks later, with the dredging that was taking place, it's 100% doable that this is their final resting place. That the car ended up being buried under the sand, because I don't know if you've like ever gone to like and dig out like sandcastles at the beach, and you dig like a big deep hole, and then the side of it collapses and comes in. The car's gone.
Yeah,
So
with everything that we've done today, all of the searching in the areas, we've refuted everything that we possibly suspected, met with the locals, everything that they have been investigating for years. This has to be it. It makes sense. The local legend probably is true here, that Frank and Mary is just underneath our feet, 20, 40 feet deep.
I do currently believe it, and I don't believe that there's anywhere else for us to search. We've searched every body of water within the local area that existed at that time.
Yeah.
With that, do keep Frank and Olivia, as well as their family, in your thoughts and your prayers. Thank you for being here. We'll see you on the next one.